Same old, living the dream.
John, I'm copying you on an email so you're aware.
Yeah. Little guy turned 6 months yesterday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's 7 o'clock.
Start becoming more and more.
It is.
It is.
He's
I started recording,
but
so.
he's doing a lot now.
When you get past that blanket.
Wait, team, we've been on
Amy's
hot
not with
mics.
us, John. I guess we're all here, right?
That's cool.
We are all here.
Okay, let's get started. Turn everything on.
Yeah, exactly. It's your first one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Nancy, tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Borough Council of the Borough of Peapack And Gladstone. This is June 13th. It is 7:01 p.m. and I am calling this meeting to order. Nancy, would you kindly read the sunshine notice, please?
Sure. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of the 2023 meeting dates was published in the Courier News and Burnersville News on December 8th, 2022, and posted at the Municipal Complex in the Borough Library. Action may be taken.
Thank you. I'd ask everybody to silence your cell phones, as I am now doing, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Nancy, a roll call, please.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Here.
Councilman Cortello.
Here.
Council President Sweeney.
Here.
Councilwoman Weibel.
Here.
Mayor Corleano.
Here. Okay, let's move on to public comments on non-agenda items, 5 minutes per person, pertaining to borough issues and not agenda issues. If you'd approach the microphone, name and address, please.
I walked past him in the hall.
Oh, okay.
We're not paying you. We're not paying you to work the doors, though.
I'm not looking for anything.
Okay, as a courtesy to those who just entered the room, we're moving on to public comments for non-agenda items, 5-minute limit per person, on any non-agenda subject pertaining to borough issues. So if you come up to the microphone, name and address, please. Anyone? Seeing none. Nancy, anybody online?
Nope, nobody is saying they would like to speak.
Okay, let's move on to old business. I have 2 items, but I'll let everybody else go first. Any council member have anything for old business?
Just one item. I forgot to mention last meeting, Jamie. The solar light that was installed on Holland Ave works great.
Great.
Compliant, so we're good there.
Oh, good. And it looks, it had a small profile. I just haven't seen it at night.
It
Is
gives
it
enough of
lighting
illumination.
enough that if you feel comfortable with that? Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just have one item. The fire company meeting the other night, Ron Hill reported on the project for acquire the new engine. Unfortunately, they've only gotten one response from a person who they sent out approximately 10 requests for somebody to help us prepare the bid specs, and they've only gotten one response back so far. They're going to give it another few weeks, and then we'll be
I thought the
moving forward.
same company that they had hired to assess it was going to do the bids.
We talked to them. They're definitely in the running, but the committee agreed that we just wanted to flesh it out a little bit
Okay.
and make sure that we weren't going in the wrong
Okay,
direction.
so my understanding they were pretty happy with that company compared to the one that we work with the.
It was.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else on old business? I have 2 items. One is old business, one is kind of new business, so I'm going to do them both right now. The first one is a friendly reminder that next Thursday night, June 22nd, we have in this room a night with elected and governing officials and representatives. We'll have representatives from the borough here, myself, council members. We're going to have representatives from Congressman Tom Kane's office here, and we're going to have representatives from the county here. So next Thursday night, starting at 6 to 8:30, if you have a question about government, you have a question about the town, you have a question about policing, OEM, we will be here to do our best to address those. And if you have a question about things that happen on the federal level or wish something to be addressed On the federal level, Congressman Kane's staff will be here. I don't believe he'll be here. And then I know Melanie Morano, one of the county commissioners, will be here along with some other representatives from the county. And there'll be refreshments served, and it's an opportunity for our residents to come interact with those of us who represent you and watch your interests. So that's next Thursday, the 22nd. It's on PG Notify, but I'd ask you to spread the word if you know anybody who might be interested in attending that. Mayor Emeritus Skinner asked me to mention that on June 14th at 7 p.m. there is a flag retirement ceremony at the firehouse on Dewey Avenue. If you have a used flag that needs to be properly disposed of, that is the time and place to bring it and go. Veterans, of course, are more than welcome. Please, it is asked that the veterans not wear the uniform, but wear an affiliation to the service that they were in. So that's, again, the 14th at 7 p.m. Firehouse for a flag retirement ceremony.
Just to add to that, Mayor, if you do have a retired flag and you can't make it to the event, there is the receptacle here in Borough Hall. Excuse me, in Borough Hall as well.
Okay, thank you, Eric. All right, moving on to new business. I have the mayor's punch list on for tonight, but I am going to defer this again because two of our members could not be here tonight. So Nancy, would you put that on for our 28th meeting, please? 27th meeting. Okay. We really need the whole council here to discuss that. Any other new business from any council member? Moving on to miscellaneous, park results. I'll give this to Jamie to handle.
Okay,
Park
so,
results naming.
right, so in 2021, the town purchased 12.66 acres right here adjacent to the municipal fields. As many of you may have noticed, the DPW worked pretty hard on creating a trail. It's about a half-a-mile loop that goes along the edge of the property. It's a nice hill, and you know, it's a nice spot. It's mostly wood chips, some gravel pathway with signage and so forth. So for multiple reasons, we wanted to name the park. You know, we're pretty excited about it. It's really a nice wooded lot here in town that, I'll say again, the town didn't have to spend any money on. We were able to raise funds through the county open space fund and through the New Jersey Land Conservancy, some Green Acres money. So a couple weeks ago, we posted on the borough website a survey, basically giving a couple naming options for the park, and there was a clear winner. We had probably, I think, about 80 votes. So not a huge turnout. That's PG.
It's kind of like primary day.
Right. But we had a clear winner, which was nice. And so hopefully that does represent the town. The clear winner was Schoolhouse Trail. And that was, that idea came from Donna Bruton of the Historical Committee. And her thinking with that kind of nominating name was the fact that the building we're in right now is the old Peapack Gladstone Public School. The Sarah K lot, which is on the corner of School and Willow, used to have the Sarah K building, which was part of the elementary school. And so this whole complex was part of kind of the PG school system. And so Schoolhouse Trail, adjacent to here, adjacent to the municipal fields, is a nice name. So we'll get some signage that reflects that name, and that's it. So it's exciting for the town to have that option for a park for people to walk with their dogs on leashes and so forth.
Be sure to wear proper foot attire. I did the trail this past weekend, and I did not have the proper foot attire. It does have a steep slope, and there's some wet patches with mud.
And it's interesting, and this is maybe a little bit ahead, I actually had an Eagle Scout candidate reach out to me looking for a project in town, and I mentioned possibly building just a small bridge over that area that gets wet, which is, I think, a good Eagle Scout project and nice for a resident in town. So I'll keep everyone up to date on that.
Jamie, thank you for managing that process and seeing this through.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Okay. Let's move on to minutes. Would everyone be open to, we only have one set of minutes, but we got two. Should we do both of them, Nancy? Wasn't there a second one?
No, the original one was, but I didn't get mine completed.
I'm sorry, no, that was the agenda.
Mayor, I move for approval of the minutes of May 23rd.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Comments? Roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Murphy,
Yes.
Councilman Cortello,
Aye.
Council President Sweeney,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wyble.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to ordinances. This is a public hearing for ordinance 1123-2023, providing for, I'll let Nancy read it. Nancy, go ahead.
Providing for various improvements in and by the borough of Peapack and Gladstone in the county of Somerset, New Jersey, and appropriating $424,201 in the general capital fund, coming from $54,800 from the open space trust,
No, and 54,000.
and 54,000 from the open space trust.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about it, or should we?
Let's
me-
do public comment first, and then we'll do questions. Motion second to open for public hearing for 1123-2023.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Nancy.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Yes.
Councilman Cortello.
Aye.
Council President Sweeney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wyble.
Aye.
Okay. Would any of our guests tonight like to make a comment regarding 1123-2023, capital improvements? Seeing none from the audience online. I don't see many people. I see 2 people. Okay. Seeing none, a motion and a second to close, please.
So moved.
Second.
Very good. Roll call.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Yes.
Councilman Cortello.
Aye.
Council President Sweeney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wyble.
Aye.
Okay. Now comments from council.
So I just wanted, I may have missed an email, and I apologize in advance for that. But could you elaborate on the 54.8 from the open space fund, just because I know the open space committee will want to know.
Yes.
You got it? I can pull it up.
Oh, you can, if you have it right there.
Okay.
I think
Great.
it's the trails.
That's
Yeah,
the trail,
35
for the trails. But I thought the 35 for the trails was the last one.
We did it the last couple of years and we've been accruing the money.
But last meeting, 2 meetings ago we had.
That was the first reading. This is
It was the
second.
first
Oh,
reading.
I'm sorry. Okay, and so 35.
Give me a
was a
second.
different
I gotta
total,
call up
that's
my
why.
budget. Bear with me.
Yeah, no worries.
And we're going to get the third reading, you'll have it.
Yeah. $35,000 for trails, $13,000 for footbridge plans, engineering and bid docs, and then $6,800 for, I'm sorry, $13,000 for environmental resources inventory, $6,800 for footbridge plans, engineering and bid docs.
Right, that's right.
$54,800.
Okay, perfect. That makes sense. All right, thank you.
Mhm. Okay, any other comments from council or questions? Okay, motion and second to adopt 1123-2023.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Nancy.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Here.
Councilman
Yes. Sorry,
Cortello.
excuse me.
Aye.
Council President Sweeney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wyble.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance 1123-2023 is adopted and shall be published by title only in the Burnersville News in accordance with the law. Moving on to 1124-2023. Nancy, you can read this for us, please?
Providing for various improvements in and by the borough of Peapack and Gladstone in the county of Somerset, New Jersey, and appropriating $38,550 in the sewer capital fund.
Thank you very much. A motion and second to open the public hearing on 1124-2023.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Yes.
Councilman Cortello.
Aye.
Council President Sweeney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wyble.
Aye.
Okay. Would any of our guests or residents wish to comment on this ordinance? Seeing none in our audience, anybody online, Nancy?
I know.
Okay. A motion and second to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Yes.
Councilman Cortello.
Aye.
Council President Sweeney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wyble.
Aye.
Okay. Ordinance 1124-2023 is adopted and shall be published by title
No.
only.
That was not the adoption.
We just
That was
closed.
just closing.
We got
Oh, I'm-
something on that.
I'm sorry. We just closed the, I'm sorry. May I have a motion and second to adopt 1124-2023? Wrong line.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Yes.
Councilman Cortello.
Aye.
Council President Sweeney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wyble.
Aye.
Okay. Ordinance 1124-2023 is adopted and shall be published by title only in the Burnersville News in accordance with the law. Moving on to resolutions, I see about 10 of them. Is the council open to a consent agenda on these?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the first note is we're going to pull one resolution, and that is just, let me just get the number.
Resolution 125.
125-2023, I see it now. The reason we're pulling this is came in at the last minute, and I think we can do a better job. Nancy and I talked on it today. We spoke to our labor attorney, and we think we can do a better job wording this to make it clearer. So we're gonna pull this and send it back for some work. So 125-23 is out. Also, the resolutions, 120, just so the council knows, they're all in here, but they don't correspond number-wise for the 3 liquor licenses to Essex Hunt, Gladstone Tavern, and Gladstone Wine. If you open them up, the numbers don't correspond to what the agenda says.
Okay.
Okay, no, not a
We'll
big
have
deal,
her-
but you have to correct that.
Right.
But we can still use the same numbers and go based on
Yes.
what's on the agenda. Having said all that, does any council member wish to pull any one of the resolutions from the consent agenda?
I'd like to pull 128-23. I have a question about that.
Okay, we'll pull 128. Anybody else?
No.
Okay, so consent agenda for 119 through 124, and then 126 through 127. Motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Nancy.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Yes.
Councilman Cortello.
Aye.
Council President Sweeney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Weibel.
Aye.
Okay. Did I say 128 when I just said that?
128,
No, you
128 I
didn't
asked that you
include it.
pull.
Okay, but I did go to 127,
You
right?
did.
Okay, fine. So now let's move on to 128-23. A motion and second to approve, and then we'll get into discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, fine,
My
discussion.
question was, is Sarah Jane is our zoning officer, and she's the board secretary.
Yes.
Don't we have a potential conflict if she was voting on something that had to do with a violation she issued?
So that is a possibility, and she would have to recuse herself. I spoke at length with Roger Thomas about this, and I really had no other options for a Class 2. Considering her extensive experience, I felt that the experience she could lend our land use board, which we
I
could
don't
really
disagree
need,
with that.
yeah, which we could really use, could be much more helpful. And in the cases where she does have to recuse herself from a zoning issue or any issue presented to the land use board, she will have to do, just like you and I
And
do.
it doesn't put any handcuffs on her in terms of communicating with applicants when they come to the window?
No. And Roger Thomas even advised me that many towns do this. Many towns have the secretary is actually a member of the board. So after hearing Roger's comments about it, I didn't see an issue.
Fair enough.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Yes.
Councilman Cortello.
Aye.
Council President Sweeney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Weibel.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to bills list 129-2023. Does any council member have any item that needs to be pulled for discussion? Okay, seeing none. Nancy, I'm sorry, I meant to address you on this before the meeting, but I'm gonna ask you to please look in. I believe there could be a duplicate in there. There is
Okay.
one item, I gotta pull it up, I don't have it up. There is one item that was in there twice, exact same description, different purchase orders, and exact same amount. So before you, let's say I'm gonna pull this one and you can look into it. And I'm sorry I didn't get to you before this. On, about halfway down on the sheet, Interstate Waste Services, there's a PO 5686 for trash for May for $7,204.85, and then there's a PO 5917 Interstate Waste May also, same exact amount.
It's probably.
They both say May.
They
One's
both say
June,
May. One is
yeah.
probably June.
That's what I thought, but just let's verify
I
it.
will verify it, but,
Okay.
and if they are, I'll pull the one
I
without being
figured that,
paid,
but because they both said May, I think we should verify
Yeah,
it.
I will, verify that.
Okay, please. Okay. Anybody else have any one that needs to be pulled? Okay, Nancy, will you read the total amount, please?
$905,526.08.
Okay, a motion and a second from the council.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Cortello?
Aye.
Council President Sweeney?
Aye.
Councilwoman Weibel?
Aye.
Okay, moving on, Mayor's executive summary. The only item I have is we're moving Mayor's punch list to the 27th. Nancy, you'll put that on the next agenda. Anybody else? And that's all I have for the punch list. Excuse me, for the executive summary. Moving on to public comments. These are public comments on agenda items only, items that we just discussed. 3-minute limit per person, no debating between residents, and comments should be addressed to the mayor and council at the microphone. Name and address, please. So comments regarding tonight's agenda. Seeing none from the audience. Anybody online, Nancy?
No, it does not look it. I'm not getting any messages.
Okay, so we close that. Does any council member have any other item for further business?
Not at this time, no.
All right, seeing none.
You know, Mark, I have to bring it up because I'm aware of it.
Okay,
I know we have people in the audience here tonight because there was a changed out of work petition that was circulated. It wasn't sent to me, by the way, you know, about the traffic on Main Street. I will tell you that, and I can't speak for everyone here, I read it. My initial reaction was no, because we've always had because it's a thoroughfare, and also it's not our decision really, it's the county's, but we can certainly go to the county and ask them to do it. But after thinking about it, and I've talked to quite a few people about it who I consider to be knowledgeable about traffic, I'm warm to the idea of a 4-way stop sign at Mendham and Jackson. I'm gonna want some feedback though from the police and probably from the county as well, obviously, because they have traffic engineers. But it's thinking outside the box, and you know, I'd be more than happy to work with the roads committee on it, or just have the roads committee, you know, talk to RPD and start the ball rolling, just to get an idea of whether it's feasible.
okay. Eric, being roads, would you mind taking this issue to the chief? Just presenting it to the chief and asking the chief to explore it?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, have his traffic officer explore it and see if they feel it's warranted, and if not, as we all know, that's a county road, it would have to get county approval and they'd have to install the signage. So we can't put the signs there.
Yep, understood.
But you'll address Chief Ferranti on it, please.
Absolutely.
And Mark, you were here when the stop sign went in on Old Chester, on Main Street leading into Old Chester Road. So,
It's my job. I did
so
that
you
sign.
might you might actually have the most knowledge in terms of what the counties, you know, would be looking for in that type of situation.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure whether that was going to ever happen. and
So-
as I said to my council members over the weekend I said my reaction was, I didn't like the stop sign on Old Chester Road going in there. And after it went in there, we didn't have an increase in accidents, and it's improved traffic.
Let me tell you the risk that I ran into when I put that stop sign in. Or I shouldn't say I put it in, but when I saw to that sign going in. The issue with it, which is a risk that we face as a town, is that the county doesn't just put a stop sign in. They come and do a traffic study. And they put counters out and all that, and they look at the velocity and the quantity of traffic on the road. And it puts the town at a potential risk that if in fact there was that much traffic, they could in fact increase the speed limits on the roads. And that is a risk that we face going to the county. It's a risk that we have to weigh. That is why we have our police department look at it first
Yeah.
and give us a recommendation.
I will say that does scare me, because I was driving, I was aware of the petition going around, and I live on Willow, and so I'm well aware of speeders. And you always remember those outliers who fly by, and I'm very sympathetic to it, and I would love to see improved speed control on Main Street. But I was driving through downtown Bernardsville, which is much more crowded, cars on both sides, people everywhere, you know, Alcott Square, you're winding through, and that is 30 miles an hour. So I just can't imagine that the county would come in and say 25 on Main Street is.
There have been other places, it was pointed
just
out.
scares me.
It was pointed out to me that they put a stop sign in the middle of Liberty Corner Road, right across from Pleasant Valley Park.
Yeah.
And that's really it was always considered to be a thoroughfare. I'm just looking at it and saying, the sacred cow that it's a thoroughfare, we have to look past that.
Yeah,
and
it's just a
and
fear that they
consider
would
it.
come in and be like, well, maybe traffic would move more smoothly if it was a little faster. I mean, who knows?
But the other thing I would say is, the mayor announced tonight that we are having a meet officials night, and there will be representatives from the county there at that meeting, and that would be a great opportunity to try and get their ear too.
Absolutely,
John.
absolutely true. Absolutely true. Okay, council members, anything else?
No.
No.
Okay, hearing none, motion to adjourn the meeting in a second, please.
So moved.
What about,
I raised the issue because under the agenda, the non-agenda comments are at the beginning of the meeting, and it was announced and nobody came forward. But I knew that's why you were here. That's why.
Who put it on the website that the meeting was at the Basking Ridge Country Club, because that's where I was on my way to, until Grace informed me, no, it's here.
Yeah, I don't know, it's always-
I don't know, what website?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the Borough Council
On the
website.
Borough
When you
Council
click on it,
website.
It says the location's Basking Ridge Country Club.
We can't afford to have meetings there.
What?
That is so weird.
Grace, is that for the borough meeting or is that for
The after meeting?
fire,
No,
event?
it's,
Is it there?
I don't
in a
know.
council meeting, 7 to 9, location, Basking Ridge Country Club. This instance occurs the second Tuesday every month from May 9th to, June 13th.
Oh my God.
So that's
May
why.
I have an
'cause I looked up
exception to-
for the time, and I saw Basking Ridge Country Club, and I said, Valerie, I thought the meeting's at the council. the municipal
That's
building."
crazy.
I
You
don't
know
know where
what,
that,
something
I
that,
will,
probably something got shifted with the event with the fire department.
Okay.
it might have.
Maybe.
Whatever
We've
caused
been
it,
hacked.
We've been-
That's why she's.
I'm asking and requesting because that's why I was late.
I think that's a
Okay,
reasonable.
so you would like
request.
to address the council?
I would.
Of course. We didn't close the meeting, did
No.
we?
No,
No.
no, it's okay, no, it's okay.
Name and address, please.
My name is
3-minute
Valerie
limit.
Pawlowski, and I'm residing at 61 Main Street for 24 years. I was a victim of a vehicular incident on August of 2021. And ever since that day, it's terrifying for not only myself, but my family members and friends and visitors that come. And I sit on my steps and watch the same thing that is about to happen to them. So it's very upsetting. And I did extensive discussions with Chief Skinner at the time, or Mayor Skinner at the time, maybe even as far back ages ago for 24 years with him, with Tom Scanlon, with the county. And in March, I came before the committee and also discussed this and requested some things done. I know I am absolutely grateful that they come all the time to do radar in my driveway. It's great. Radar's great. We talked about radar signs. I understand County Road. We talked about raising, which is ludicrous, the speed limit. What I find is, if I could just ask, how many people here blow through a stop sign? How many times has anyone here blown through a stop sign? Okay, I don't see any hands.
That's actually one of my pet peeves in town.
Okay, so I never blow through stop signs. How many times have you gone a mile over the speed limit? Okay, anywhere.
Respectfully, I have to ask you to address the council and not the audience,
Okay.
please.
All right, for the council members, I mean, think of it. That's all I'm asking, is to consider this. Because I've been through the dance before, and I thought I had good word that it was to bring it to the council's attention, and from there, last time I was heard, and it was gonna be discussed and proceed to do something. Then when I talked to the people at the county, I said, well, what happened? Because I did discuss it with them, and I have all those details that we all just went over. And they said, well, we're waiting for your mayor and your town to tell us to go ahead. I said, that's the only thing standing in the way? So the go ahead is coming from here, is from what I understand from the county. The way to stop speeding is to stop a car. I'm a pedestrian, I'm a cyclist, I'm a runner, and I operate my vehicle on cruise control at 25 up and down Main Street to prove a point to people and to show support for the town, even from visiting it. I go to other towns and I do the same thing now because of the respect that I've earned. The car that hit me when she never stopped a bit, never put a foot on the brake. She was exceeding the speed limit. I have it on video. And again, I watch it time and time again. She ditched into my neighbor's yard, missing their living room by feet. So all I'm asking is, the definitive thing is least expensive stop sign. Stop sign will stop the people from descending that hill from Mendham at just crazy. I mean, I'm doing a lot of walking over there lately, and I'm petrified. I'm looking over my shoulder constantly. But that's not even where I live. I mean, on my side, there's no sidewalk. It's very thin. So, you know, it's a safety measure that we're asking again. 111 people did. So I'm sorry, I didn't know I was supposed to send it to you.
No, there's no rules for
Okay.
that.
And I brought it with me to present. I'm new at this, but I just found that I spoke to a lot of people walking and about this, and they are really concerned. 24 years later, I'm just really, please, a stop sign is inexpensive, and you did. I can't believe it. Thank you. You put the stop sign at Old Chester in Jackson, just there. And Brooke lives there, and she told me how.
It took me a year to get it done because we can't put the stop sign there, the county.
I understand, but
To address this issue, I put it in great hands. It's in Eric's hands.
Okay.
Eric will address it with another great pair of hands, Chief Ferrante.
okay.
And they will make a professional evaluation, and if necessary, a recommendation to the county.
Okay, but I don't want to talk about speed anymore because of what you said. If they want to raise the speed, we can't have that.
That's a risk we take.
Well, to get the stop sign, then I guess we'll have to.
Maybe not. We'll see.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
you giving me the
Thank you.
time.
Sure.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm sorry you got misdirected by that.
Yes.
I just looked and I saw myself.
Just so you know, it wasn't a criticism that I didn't receive it, but in the future, you have all our email addresses. Blast us.
Yes. Thank you.
That's why they pay us so much money.
Can I just ask a clarifying question?
You come up, name and address, please. Sorry.
No problem. Carol Lane, 1 Hillard Lane, Gladstone. Are you going to evaluate both locations? I think you had mentioned 2 locations, correct?
Yeah, I want them all over.
I think the complaint's about Main Street. I'm sure the chief will look at Main Street as a whole.
Okay, I was just,
She did mention 2 locations. I indicated that I was warmer to one than the other, but I'm open.
okay.
I want to get more information from the experts on it.
Okay, I was just curious if it was 1 or 2 that was going forward, but you're gonna have them look at all of Main Street, correct?
And didn't the police, Chief, you can answer this question, didn't you all just do a traffic study over kind of at Jackson and Mendham Road, that area, last year or 2 years ago?
I'm gonna check with Tom on the numbers for that, but we did.
Yeah, that was a
traffic
recent
study
one,
that area.
yeah, okay.
And my only other comment was, there are various speed zones when you come from Far Hills into Gladstone. You're going from 25 to 30 to, I believe, even 45 for a stretch along Natterar.
And Far Hills goes up and down in the same
And I
10-mile
travel that
stretch.
often. So, and then from 45 steps down, and I think that makes part of it difficult because you're not maintaining a consistent speed throughout the stretch from Far Hills all the way through Peapack and Gladstone.
But you know, Mark's point though about the speed limits, I mean, Judy Salachi, when she was on the council, fought tooth and nail with the county over the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit, which I'm almost certain if they do their study, that's not, 25 miles per hour is not going to be, quote, the right speed limit according to the formulas.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I was a green councilman, another project that the mayor assigned me was the speed limit on Willow. And we ended up reducing it. I ended up reducing it 5 miles an hour, but it was a battle to get done.
Okay, thank you
So,
for the clarification.
you're welcome.
Thanks,
You're
Carol.
welcome, Carol. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
Anyone else regarding this issue? Hearing none, motion second to adjourn the meeting, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, before we take a vote, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out. It means so very much to us when we see our residents here. And that is not always like this, and we appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, roll call, please. Or all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm
Any abstentions or nays? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.